Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the conversation. I am Ajibola Ojeshola. As you can see, Abimbola is not on set today.
You
It's a
are
pleasure to have you join us this morning.
You threw it at me yesterday. You're lonely. So today, you're the lonely one.
No problem.
Good morning. Welcome to the conversation. I am Joy Olu.
Good morning, everyone. I am Adibimpe Omotayo.
All right, we'll quickly take our news point this morning. I think the best place to start this morning is from the Lagos end. Adebimpe, what do you have for us this morning?
Yes, cash scarcity. OPS faults CBN's limit on POS withdrawals. The organized private sector has kicked against the decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria to limit the withdrawals from point-of-sale agents, stressing that the Apex Bank is not in touch with reality. CBN introduced a daily cash-out transaction limit of 100,000 naira per individual customer for point-of-sale agents as part of new measures to advance the cashless policy in Nigeria. The directive contained in a circular dated December 17, 2024 and addressed to deposit money banks, microfinance banks, mobile money operators and super agents mandate immediate compliance by all stakeholders. The circular, signed by Oladimiji Taiwo on behalf of the Director of the Payment System Management Department at the CBN, outlined key measures to ensure uniform operational standards, combat fraud, and enhance the use of electronic payment systems in agency banking operations. According to the directive, POS agents must ensure that individual customer withdrawals do not exceed 100,000 naira daily. Also, agents are restricted to a cumulative cash-out limit of 1.2 million naira per day, while customers face a maximum cash withdrawal limit of 500,000 naira per week. I'll go to the agitations of the OPS now. The president of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Delioye, said the Central Bank of Nigeria was not in touch with reality. He said it's hard to understand how these kinds of things happen in Nigeria and nowhere else. Their policies are so disconnected from the everyday struggles of businesses and citizens. I'll just leave it here right now. CBN gave a directive yesterday bringing a limit of cash individuals to 100,000 naira, stating that they're doing this because they're trying to combat fraud and trying to enhance electronic banking system. I will agree. I will agree with the CBN. Most times these POS operators seems to be bigger than our banks today because they have more cash than our banks. When you get to the banks, they don't have the money. How come?
Who is giving the POS operators?
It is the banks. But now that there is a directive, I just hope they follow it through, and it's not just another statement. Okay.
Well, for me, I think that decision by the CBN, the timing for me is quite wrong, looking at the fact that we have cash scarcity in the country as we speak. So I would have thought that the CBN would have consulted wide before coming to that conclusion, limiting the daily withdrawal for, what is it called, POS operators. Enjoy your story.
All right. Tinubu arrives Lagos for Christmas, New Year holidays. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Lagos State for this year's Christmas and New Year holidays. He arrived at the presidential wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport here in Lagos. Yesterday, before departing Abuja, the president presented the 2025 appropriation bill to a joint session of the National Assembly for consideration and passage. That's basically it.
That's the story.
That's it. And he was received by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Deputy Governor, Dr. Bafemi Hamzat, and cabinet members received him at the international airport yesterday.
Okay,
Baba
so
is,
Mr. President
Baba
is in Lagos, is home,
around.
and we just hope that people will allow Mr. President rest and enjoy his holiday. I hope
in Lagos, Ajibola.
If you go there now, that
to
place
Lagos to come and disturb Mr. President again. And the traffic around that airport road was quite hectic yesterday because of the arrival of Mr. President.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly take my news point this morning. We all know that Mr. President presented the 2025 budget proposal before members of the National Assembly yesterday. Federal government plans 13 trillion naira loan as Tinubu present 49.7 trillion 2025 budget. President Bola Tinubu's government is planning to spend 8.97 trillion of its projected 49.7 trillion naira budget on defense and security, as well as infrastructure in 2025. Tinubu yesterday presented a 2025 budget proposal to a joint session of the National Assembly, outlining an ambitious 49.7 trillion naira titled Budget of Restoration, Securing Peace, Rebuilding Prosperity. The budget prioritizes defense, infrastructure, and human capital development with a projected deficit of 13.39 trillion to be financed through borrowing. I really do not want to dwell so much on this particular news item because we have somebody standing by on the Zoom right now to join us, and of course take a look at the budget proposal for the year 2025, which was read before members of the National Assembly by the President yesterday. We have on the Zoom this morning Mr. Kola Olaiton, a chartered accountant. It's a pleasure to have you. Mr. Olaiton, it's a pleasure to have you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
my
sir.
pleasure to be here.
I'm sure you must have gone through the budget proposal for the year 2025, which was presented yesterday by Mr. President. Looking at the naira and kobo of this budget, does that give you hope that the economy will be better than what it is this year?
Yes, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. No doubt, yes, there is hope. There is hope. The quantum of money is what a lot of people refer to, but if you look at the quantum of the money that is budgeted, it's all about the inflationary trend that we have. Talking of trillions it's not what matters there. I think what matters most to me are some of the indicators that we have. And there is no doubt that we have a bit of hope along the line. The exchange rate is projected at about 1,500. We hope we'll be able to achieve that. The production of oil, which is actually where we get much of the money that we get from, is also expected above 2.06 barrel per day. So that also, the income or the revenue, as we call it most of the time, is predicated on that. It is expected that we will be able to achieve that. For me, the sectoral allocation, if you also look at that, defense is taking a large chunk of it. We all know the reason for that. And when we talk of defense, most times, I believe you listen to the president. He wasn't just talking about the Army, Air Force, and Navy. He was also referring to the police and as well as border security, which requires a lot of attention. So for me, I want to believe that if we are able to achieve what has been planned, let's just take note that what we're talking about for now is just a plan. Mm-hmm. It's a plan, and it's predicated on a lot of things. Just as we are quick to say here, we pray that God will allow that to happen. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lighton, this budget for me is quite ambitious, like you have rightly said, and there is a particular paragraph of this news item that I want you to speak to. According to Mr. President, the budget is based on key economic assumptions, including a projected decline in inflation from 34.6% to 15%, and an improvement in the Naira exchange rate from 1,700 per dollar to 1,500 per dollar. How realistic is this?
I think the projection is on inflation. I can say that I think we're already heading towards that, and I believe if things go the way it is going now, if it continues to, we will likely get to that point. No doubt about that. You can see that, one, we're talking the forex rate coming down a bit lower, which is where a lot of things that we get depends on. To God be the glory. I hope we can continue. The fuel supply situation too is also improving. You have the Dangote refinery now producing. The Port Harcourt refinery too is also has also started production, which means we can do a lot more with exporting all these things and be able to get more money. And then we will save on some of the imports that we do with petroleum products. I guess looking at it from that area, I don't think it is that seriously ambitious. I don't think it is.
Okay, Mr. Lighton, Mr. President also said yesterday that the expected revenue for 2025 is 34.82 trillion naira, leaving a deficit of 13.39 trillion, representing 3.89% of Nigeria's GDP. The budget deficit for me is a source of concern. Do we need to get worried or agitated at all? Because we'll be getting a loan of 13.39 trillion naira to finance the budget deficit.
You see, the deficit is not just a problem itself. What are you spending the deficit on? If what you're spending the deficit on is something that will generate funds at the end of the day, I think it's not getting a loan is not the issue. The problem is, what do you spend it on? Are you spending it on recurrent expenditures or capital? If you're spending it on capital, which I think is what the government is trying to do, it means that we are sure the future generation of income, which will pay back. If that will be the case, then we are good to go. And I believe that is exactly what is happening. Look, deficit budgeting is not a problem in itself. Like I said, if what we're doing is properly spending it, mark my word, properly, and what I mean by that is ensuring that we are not filtering the money away, then we are good to go. Thank you.
Okay, before we let you go this morning, are you also comfortable with our oil, the assumption of our oil production of 6.06 million barrels per day for next year?
Oh, is it 6 or 2?
2.06 million barrels per day.
Okay, fantastic. Now, yes, I think if I say I'm comfortable, we'll be speaking. You see, there are so many ways to it. You are looking at, I just talked about the issue of defense, border security, and so on and so forth. If the momentum is kept on, that is, in terms of ensuring that we no longer lose what we are producing, yes, I think we should. I'm bearing any interruption within the oil production business and then in the international market, I think we won't be doing badly. Then also looking at what we are doing at the moment, I think we are making progress. Let's just hope that the security team can keep up with what they are currently doing and ensuring that, look, our oil no longer gets stolen, like what was happening before. It wasn't that we were not producing before, but what is happening is that, look, rather than the money coming into the country, it was going into the pocket of some people. And going back to what you said, the issue of the quantum of the figures that we're talking about, look, until the devaluation of our currency, it wasn't that we weren't making that much money, but it's just that, look, so people were actually just pocketing, doing round tripping and making the money rather than the money coming into the pocket of the country. That's just it. Thank you.
Okay, when you look at our foreign reserve as we speak today, it's about $42 billion. And here we are saying that we are going to borrow 13.39 trillion to finance the budget deficits. Can't we take out of this reserve to finance the budget?
No, it doesn't work that way.
How does it work?
It doesn't work. Now, look, the reserve is actually there to absorb shocks for the future. And that is what, if you look at it in the past, what you want to do, that is what gives the international community comfort. That look, if anything, we were just discussing the issue of, what's the name called now? The issue of oil production. If anything happens, that will probably be what we will resort to at the end of the day. It doesn't really make sense. It's just like, look, now you have your pension being paid into your, what's the name called, which is for the future. And you, rather than just ensuring that you keep to what you have and trying to manage what you have, and then you want to eat into your future. That's exactly what it will look like. Okay. But like I said, the foreign reserve is not really meant for that. It is actually there to assure the international community, those who will borrow us money, or lend us money, who will lend us money, and rate some of our finances, that will give them comfort. That look, this country is good enough for us to trade with.
All right, we must thank you very much, Mr. Kola Olaitan, a chartered accountant, for speaking to the 2025 budget proposal as presented by Mr. President before members of the National Assembly yesterday. We thank you for your time.
Yes, you're very much welcome.
All right, you're welcome. All right, we'll quickly move to X now and see what is trending. Of course, it's still the budget, which was presented yesterday by Mr. President. And on the floor of the National Assembly yesterday, while Mr. President was presenting the budget, we had members of the National Assembly singing "On Your Mandate We Shall Stand," Bola, which is the name of Mr. President. And for me, something as very important as the national budget of Nigeria, I see no reason why members of the National Assembly should turn it to a political ground singing "On Your Mandate We Shall Stand" for Mr. President. And that's exactly what is trending on X this morning. Mr. President equally said yesterday that he was addressing members of the 11th Assembly instead of 10. He did say that, okay, it's an automatic ticket for members of the National Assembly to be re-elected in 2027. Adebimpe and Joy, what do you say to this?
You know, immediately after the budget yesterday, my father called me. Now your APC people, they started again. I said, Daddy, give me to your APC. Now why are they chanting on your mandate
we shall stand?
Is that an APC secretariat?
It's not.
It's not.
It is not. It wasn't a party event.
I mean, they could have even sang the new national anthem.
Why are they singing? It's budget. Okay,
if they wanted, if they wanted to sing, they should have.
Because it's not only members of the APC that are members of the National Assembly.
Yes. And I was like, Daddy, if you want it, you'll be surprised when that's what I'm saying now. But it is all manner of wrong. You know? It wasn't a fun fair. It wasn't an APC event. So there was no need for that. I don't know what is wrong with honorables. And I don't even know what to call them again. Honorables
and senators.
Honorables.
It is well.
It is well, like Joy said. So that's what is trending on X this morning. We'll quickly take a break on the program. When we come back, our first conversation on the program will start. Stay with us.